Hey, welcome to my channel. It's Marion McRae. I'm a physiotherapist and back pain specialist and founder of the Bulletproof Backs Method. If you're here, it's because you're ready to take charge of your back pain and discover some tools which combine mindset, movement, emotional fitness, and some lifestyle strategies that will hopefully help you shift from where you are to where you want to be. Welcome to this particular section, which is Ask the Back Pain Coach, where I hope to answer your most pressing back pain questions straight from the heart and backed by years of experience. I will say from the get-go, this information I share reflects my personal opinions and experience as a physio. It's meant for educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for advice from your own healthcare team. I encourage you to consult your doctor or therapist to tailor these ideas to your unique situation. With that being said, let's get to today's question. Who have we got today? Sophie. Hi, my name is Sophie and I'm from New York City. I've been dealing with back pain since my first pregnancy 3 years ago. Common. The doctor said it's related to weak core muscles and a tilted pelvis, but I can't seem to make any real progress. With two toddlers to chase after, I'm constantly bending and lifting, which only makes it worse. I hear you. My sister sent me a link to your book on Amazon and it gave me hope that there's a way to feel like myself again. Oh man. I've been following your channel and wanted to ask for advice on how to start healing. Yeah. Wow, Sophie. Um, I really feel for you, Sophie. Um, I get emotional just because uh, I think this is one of the hardest back pain groups to help, largely because you're a mum and you have two toddlers who rely on you and are draining every energetic ounce that you have. Um, and within that, you become depleted. I'm a mum, I've got two kids. I know that we always put the kids ahead of our own needs. And as much as someone tells you not to, I just don't know. I think it's a mother's wiring to prioritize the kids above themselves. Unfortunately, it's not sustainable, and we end up depleted, broken, and not the best version of ourselves, which is ironic because that's really what we want to model to our children is that by taking care of ourselves, we are the best, showing up every day as the best version of ourselves, and we are therefore way more able to work with the draining demands of raising two little kids. So let's talk a little bit about pain, back pain that comes on during pregnancy. Obviously, most often it is related to the spike in our hormone called relaxin, which actually stretches the ligaments which hold the pelvis nice and tight. Those hormones, understandably, are flooding our body so that the pelvis can open, the birth canal can open, so that that baby can come through into the world. There's usually spikes within the gestation period. So there's weeks where that instability created can be worse. And quite often, things that really help are some sacroiliac compression belts that kind of hold the pelvis together a little bit. And learning, how to almost restrict movement in that area because it is so mobile. We're trying to hold it all together for a bit longer and learning to move in ways that don't create excessive motion in the area are some of the strategies I teach clients. So the doctor said it's related to weak core muscles and a tilted pelvis. Quite possible. I'm just wondering if you've had any other advice, maybe from a physiotherapist who specializes in pregnancy-related back pain or postnatal back pain. It is a specialist area. So I'd encourage you to try and ask around and find a physio that specializes within this patient group. It can be the weak core muscles and pelvic floor muscles, and the fact that when we carry such an excessive weight in the front of our body, it can encourage our pelvis to go into more of an anterior tilt, which then long after we've had the baby can become the normal position. So it takes a little bit to slowly start to encourage the pelvic floor reactivation, the abdominal network to reactivate, and then the pelvis to kind of find its way back more to its neutral position. Pilates would be, taught well, would be a really good strength and conditioning program if that is the case. Some other things that come to mind that it could be, is a sacroiliac joint instability. Sometimes we get shifts in the alignment of the sacrum and the ilium post-pregnancy, some pubic separation at the front. So the pelvic alignment and how it all fits together, it would be really nice for someone with skills to assess that of new and reassure you that things are all sitting exactly where they need to be so that when you start your strength and conditioning, you're locking in some nice alignment, not some twisted pelvic alignments. I would say stretching probably isn't something I would be focusing on. I think it sounds to me like things are too loose, and strength work definitely, or reactivation work firstly. And the difference between those two is if you jump into strength core work, but those muscles aren't actually connected in your brain, you'll be reinforcing the outer layers to get stronger, which will make reactivation of the inner unit muscles harder. So really slow, mindful pelvic floor, transversus activations, multifidus, diaphragm, breathing, almost those sort of exercises where you're laying on the floor and not much is moving, but you're really trying to recruit and hold and breathe. And then you add very small movements of one knee falling away from the midline, one knee lifting, and just seeing if you can keep that pelvic stability while you do that. Helps to know really good people who can teach that. I can certainly put you in contact with the people that I use in my area, but it's probably not going to help you. The other factor that comes to mind for you is two toddlers to chase after. So there's going to be lifting. You say lifting and bending, which only makes it worse, 100%. So how do we get around that? When we're weak through our core and we've got to then add more load with toddlers, it's really tricky. And this is where what happens in an ideal world and what happens in most people's reality are two different things. And trying to bridge that is really a challenge. But what's also really nice to know about that is that's probably the only thing keeping you in pain. It's not that your body's not trying to heal. It's not that your body doesn't know how to heal. It just doesn't find itself in an environment right now where it can get what it needs. And so your main challenge is to create that environment. And things like don't pick up the toddlers. They need to learn how to climb into the car and car seat by themselves. They need to walk with you holding their hand. You need to ask, if possible, for others to pick them up, others to hold them. And it's not forever. It's for, if you can carve yourself out an 8-week window of time where you prioritize your own spinal health over lifting and carrying the kids, then what you should notice within that time, if you can get some strength into the system, you have to take out the thing provoking it, which could just be the lifting, the bending, and the drain of the children. And if you can carve out some time for you, where you simply focus on re-establishing connection with those inner unit muscles, you go and get some advice on the pelvic alignment and get reassured that, yep, everything's lined up, everything's in place, it just needs strength. If it's not, then there's some really lovely techniques, osteopathic techniques, actually, I'd probably recommend for this, which use muscle energy to kind of realign a pelvis. That would be my priority. And then seeking a really good Pilates instructor who could help with the recruitment of the inner unit muscles, or physiotherapist, and get that really slow progressive strength system happening. Third thing would be to really consider and think about how you can take out the bending and the lifting. It's not impossible, it is inconvenient. And even if, worst case scenario, you can get it down to 1 lift a day instead of 8, then technically you're winning and tracking in the right direction. I hope that makes sense, but I do feel for you. There's also probably a heap of lack of sleep in there. Sleep is one of the primary ways our body heals. And if we're not getting it, we're not getting good quality sleep. It's really hard for the body to do what it knows what to do. It just hasn't got the resources to do it right now. So I feel for you. I hope any or some of that is of use. And yeah, just know that, I do have the 6-week program. There's a lot of education in that. And I'm also available for one-on-one consults. All my coaches are. So let us know if we can help you in any way. Thanks for listening and thanks for sending in your question. It's really not just about you, but these questions, I'm sure there's other women out there who are just going, uh-huh, uh-huh. So by speaking to you, I get to speak to them. So I really appreciate that opportunity. Thanks, Sophie.